time, Defense would like to call Dr. Ash DeRosa to the stand. Could you tell the court your name and spell your last name record, please?
Dr. Ash DeRosa, D-E-R-O-S-A.
And Dr. Rosa, what do you do for a living?
I'm a tenured professor of health policy and management at Midland State University. In addition, I am the co-director of the Midland Center for Responsible Gun Policy and Legislation.
In your position as a co-director and professor, what does the thrust of your work entail?
Over the past 21 years, I have conducted numerous studies into gun violence, its prevention, and storage in both residencies and homes. In addition, I do teach courses on gun violence.
And have you done anything else in the field of gun violence worthy of noting?
I have published 30 scientific peer-reviewed journals, 4 of which are directly relevant to this case. I have also been retained in 15 previous civil cases, all relating to guns.
And how did this case come to your attention today?
I was hired by Hayden Durant to determine if the park safely stored and maintained their firearm in their home.
And why did you choose to take this case?
I felt it was peculiar and an opportunity to show about the dangers of owning a firearm.
And given the peculiarity of this case, did you go about investigating it in any different fashion?
No, I reviewed the affidavits of Danny Brooks, Andy Park, and Hayden Durant. In addition, parts of the Jules Sebastian CSI report, all directly relating to the gun. In addition, I used all this information off of the basic standard books and journals from my fields.
And now let's move on to your investigation. What was the focus of your findings?
I had 3 primary focuses in my investigation: the dangerousness of owning a firearm, the likelihood of accidental discharge, and the park's storage of their safe combination.
And now let's begin with where you began in your investigation, the risk of owning a firearm. What can you tell us about that today?
Objection, Your Honor, lack of foundation. They have not listed any scientific facts or data as to any of these dangers or warning signs.
Go ahead. That's exactly what an answer will entail, these statistical data. Okay, thank you. Would you like me to ask the question again?
Yes, please.
What can you tell us about the risks of owning a firearm?
It is always a very high-risk endeavor. Accidental homicide can rise as high as 170% and suicide as high as 460%.
And who is most affected by this increase in accidental homicide?
Typically the age range of 10 to 14,
And how old was Jesse Duran?
11 years old,
How old was Sidney Park?
11 years old.
And where did they fall in that age range?
They fall directly in the middle of that age range of that increased risk of accidental homicide.
Objection, Your Honor, lack of foundation. They have not used any sufficient, I'm sorry, Your Honor, they have not laid the foundation on any sufficient principles and methods that they have used to come to the understanding of any of these statistics in their case today.
Well, what kind of principles and methods do they need?
Something that would lay the foundation as to how these statistics came about, Your Honor. And this is pursuant to Rule 702 in the Midlands Rules of Evidence, Your Honor.
If I may, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Given his 21 years and both his job as a professor to educate people on this and the co-director in policy regarding this very topic, he's very well versed in not just the statistics and the data, but the laws in which that encompass them. And given, again, the breadth of his years in this field, he is in fact qualified as an expert to testify to this.
Well, what I'm looking at, is he offering this as anecdotal data, or is he offering it as scientific data?
He's offering it as anecdotal, his overall assumption, to give him his overall
Based
conclusion.
on his experience.
Yes.
All right, then on that basis, I'll overrule the objection.
Now again, given the risks that are increased with a gun in the home, let's move on to accidental discharge. What can you tell us about that?
Accidental discharge can occur to even the most experienced firearm users.
How so?
One can easily and accidentally put pressure on the trigger in the act of practice or demonstration. Simply fumbling around with it or dropping it can set off a very sensitive trigger.
Could you even accidentally catch a gun and set off the trigger?
Yes, that is correct.
Objection, Your Honor, speculation.
Overruled.
And would you like to ask a question again?
Yes, please.
Can you, in catching, just even catching a gun, will accidentally go off?
Yes, it could.
All right. And given the sensitivity, how often or likely is accidental discharge?
It happens fairly often. Of all firearm users who have owned a weapon at least 1 year, have reported, 50% of those have reported at least one instance of accidental discharge.
And does this have any increased risk for someone as young as Sydney or Jesse?
This poses a significant risk to these young children, as neither child has any experience handling a weapon before.
And now moving on to the state in which this dangerous weapon was stored in, what can you tell us about the precautions taken on the park's behalf?
Well, they should have most definitely taken extra precautions.
How so?
The parks had a clear understanding that Sydney knew all important information was in that file cabinet. Knowing this, they should have moved it to a more secure location.
And can you tell us anything more about what the parks should have done?
Again, knowing that the kids could easily access it in this file drawer, and that knowing that the kids knew all important information was in that drawer, by not moving it, they blatantly disregard the safety of their weapon.
Thank you.